Good morning, welcome. This morning we're going to have omelets for breakfast, and I'm going to show you how to make them too. So if you'll just pay attention, by the end of this you'll know how to make an omelet. First thing to do is assemble your equipment. We have a stove. This is a gas stove, makes it easier. We have an omelet pan. You don't have to use an omelet pan. You can use a non-stick pan as long as it's shaped like this. The omelet pan makes it a little easier because it distributes the heat very evenly. And the metal surface, as opposed to the non-stick surface, makes a nice crust on the omelet. I got this at William and Sonoma. Okay, so let's start the pan heating up, because when we cook eggs, we want to make sure the pan is nice and hot before we put the eggs in. I'm going to put in some olive oil. We're using the Filippo Burrillo olive oil, nothing fancy here, just your regular olive oil you use to cook with. When the olive oil is hot enough, it'll be very runny and we'll start to see patterns on the surface. That way we'll know that the pan is hot enough. So while that's heating up, let's make good use of our time and get the eggs ready. Based on the size of this pan and the size of these eggs, I think a 3-egg omelet would fit just about right. Could probably get away with 4 eggs. And I'm going to put a little bit of water in with the eggs before we beat them up. Some people use milk. I use milk sometimes too. For a real fluffy omelet though, use a little bit of water. As the water cooks, it steams and makes the omelet nice and light. Now you don't need anything fancy. In fact, the best thing to use is an ordinary fork to mix it up. And I like to put in a little bit of something, maybe some Tabasco sauce. This doesn't say Tabasco sauce on it, but it's really the same thing. Big bottle though. You can also use Worcestershire sauce. Some people like to put meat or vegetables in their omelet. I'm going to just make a cheese omelet today with American cheese. Hold on, let's check the pan, see how hot it's getting. The top of the oil, if I reflect the light off it, I can see that it's getting a little bit mottled. And that means it's starting to heat up. I can tell though it's still a little thick. It's not quite runny enough, so let's let it sit a little bit more. We're going to beat the eggs up just a little more just before we pour them in so they have a lot of air bubbles incorporated, and that will help make the omelet fluffy. Okay. That looks better. So we made sure the oil is covering the bottom of the pan and a little bit up the sides. I'll turn the heat down a bit. Put some air in here and pour it in. A few seconds after pouring the eggs in, take your fork and gently move it from side to side on the top surface, or just under the surface of the eggs, being careful not to break through the bottom. This will make the omelet a lot fluffier when it's done. Now we don't have any more omelets to make today, so I'll just give this to my assistant to prepare for the dishwasher. Bastian! He's a little slow today. Okay, now back to the cooking. Careful not to disturb the egg until it's set up. If you disturb it, you'll break through the bottom and it won't come out very good. So let's give it adequate time to cook while we talk about what we might put into it. A lot of different kinds of cheese you can use. Provolone, Havarti, Munster. Cheddar is very good. Of course, we also have the ShopRite brand American cheese food, which I think means it's not really cheese, but anyway, it's what we eat around here, so we're going to use that. If you go out and diner and get a cheese omelet, that's what you're going to get, American cheese, unless you specify otherwise and pay an extra quarter. Okay, the omelet's still cooking, and I'm going to go around the edge with my spatula just to make sure it's loose. If it's going to stick someplace, it usually sticks on the edge. If I shake it a little bit, I should be able to tell if it's free. See, See that? Okay, I think it's time to put some cheese in. Let's put in a couple of pieces here of American cheese food. Here's another piece. It got away from me. Okay, let's give it enough time to cook now. We need to be patient here. Looks about right. Now all I'm going to try to do is flip one side up over the other, like that. Perfect. Up against the edge. Leave the omelet up against the edge for about a minute so that it can rise a bit. It will actually rise up. And then we'll put it on our plate. This would be a good time to put out the coffee or get the other ingredients on your plate that you're going to serve the omelet with. You throw this to your assistant if he's been good. Okay. Looks like it's done. Take the omelet out, put it on half of the plate like that, turn off the heat, and there we have an omelet. Put a little, perhaps black pepper if you like it, a little bit of salt, and we're done. Bye now.